I first was diagnosed with cancer, I must say I was devastated. I thought my life was over. I thought this was it for me. But fortunately, I'm here, I'm thriving. And I would like to share with the patients that are about to go through chemo that you have to trust the process.
It all started with a shoulder pain. My wife and I talked, and she was saying, "Why don't you go to the doctor? You have insurance." See, I never go to the doctor because nothing, I've been doing good up until that point. But when I did go, they seen a spot on my left lung. And when my biopsy came back, it was cancerous.
By the time the doctor officially told me in person that I had cancer, I already knew that it was cancer. I was only expecting that sentence, "You have cancer." It was difficult, was overwhelming, but not unexpected. I had a test that said that I had the mutation for cancer, so it wasn't a surprise. It was just a confirmation. Okay, bring it on. And that's the attitude that I continued having during treatments.
It started in the neck and throat. I had made several trips to the emergency room trying to diagnose why I was coughing up blood. They detected a mass inside the throat, which they did a biopsy in November of 2021. The results of the biopsy showed that it was a cancer, and then they scheduled a PET scan, which showed multiple tumors throughout the neck and throat.
I said, well, of course I want the good news first. She said, well, you have breast cancer, but it's not in any of your lymph nodes, but you have triple negative.
When I was diagnosed with lymphoma, I came to a place where a path had been well worn by my wife and I. I was able to go to places that I trusted very much intellectually. I was able to tap into people that I trusted very much because they cared so well for my wife. I can think of no more terrifying moment than when your doctor looks at you, whether it's a GP that you've known for a long time or a specialist, and says, "I'm afraid to tell you, you have cancer." And that hits your head like somebody hit you with a 2x4. And then oftentimes the cancer patient, and often the caregiver as well, don't hear another word past that. I mean, it all just rushes in like a flood. So the best way to approach it is, I love the expression, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And this is an instance where that applies so much. And all of a sudden, this mosaic of confusion, this jigsaw puzzle will start coming together, and you'll begin to understand what the path is going to look like. One of the things that I recommend, and I have yet to run into a specialist that would disagree with this, is get a second opinion. If your doctor says, "Oh, why are you doing that?" You need a new doctor. This is your life. You're fighting for your life. You want to make sure you have the most and best treatments for your particular brand of cancer that you can get.
When I first was diagnosed with cancer, I went to a few doctors to get second opinion and third opinion because this was so new to me and I was 24 years old. So every doctor that I went to, I would have all these questions I needed to ask. I would have my pen and paper and I would write, and then I would go back home, go through everything. And I did that until I felt most comfortable with where I was gonna go. You always should go with your gut when you're making these types of decisions on what doctors to choose.
The surgeon told me what I should do is find an oncologist and see if maybe we could do chemo first and then surgery.
They gave me everything, a surgery, chemo, radiation, and hormones, the pills.
We discussed putting in a power port that would make giving the chemo treatments a little easier. A little device that they put in through the chest doesn't hurt or anything, and it makes it easier when they're doing IVs and everything. They also put me in touch with a counselor to help me with any questions I may have towards my treatment. and if I had any difficulty. I would see Dr. Alisi once a week, but always there would be a nurse or a NP, a nurse practitioner there to assist and to help with any questions I may have or any problems I may have.
One of the first things that they told me with my diagnosis was, and I never forget it, and I tell every person this, is that this is your cancer and this is your world. So you have to always remember that your treatment is just part of what you're going through. And you're gonna make it through, but it's gonna be tough. It was kind of weird, but it felt very empowering to me to finally be able to do something about what was inside my body.
At the end of the day, this is your body. You have to do what's best for you. And if it's something that you're not comfortable with, just because a doctor says it, doesn't mean you have to go through with it.
Just because you hear the word cancer does not mean that you have a death sentence, which is the way you feel when you hear it. And that's a very scary and natural feeling to have. As hard as it might be to believe at this very moment, things will get better. They'll get clearer. You'll understand what you're up against far better. You'll begin to experience the incredible expertise and understanding and knowledge of the professionals that you will then have in your life. And it will happen faster than you think, that you will realize I'm not alone.